This time on Square Buddy Stuff, we're changing out timing chains. Alright, now we're going to go over pulling the crankshaft timing gear, and I'm going to use a 3-jaw puller, but before we do that I'm going to put the bolt, thread it back into the crankshaft a little bit. Because I don't want to take a chance of my puller. Since my puller's got kind of a smaller head on it, I don't want to take a chance of it ruining the threads. If you've got a bigger deal on the end of it, you probably don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to go ahead and put my bolt in there to protect the threads. Hopefully my puller comes out far enough. Should. I've done this before. And sometimes the gear is not on there very tight. Apparently this one's not much of a press fit. It just about slid off of there. Now it's hung on the other keyway. That's alright. Some things don't go as planned, but they're not. It's not a bad thing. There we go. It's off of there. Pull my bolt back off. And there's our timing gear for the crankshaft. Now some of them I've had they're on there really tight press fit. This one was pretty loose. It's a good thing. I'm not complaining. Alright, I apologize. I didn't have the camera rolling or anything for installing the cam gear or the crankshaft gear. What I did was the gear that I'm putting on there, I heated it up with just a regular propane torch. Just I had it on my metalwork table, heated up the center of it. Not a lot of heat. I put some of our assembly lube, any type of lubricant, oil or whatever, on the crankshaft snout. Once I got it warmed up enough, I just grabbed a hold of my gear with my pliers, got it started on there. I used my brass drift and a hammer just to work my way around to get it slid up on there until it's good and seated. And that's all there is to installing the gear on the crankshaft. Some of them slide on easier than others. This one wasn't real bad because when I heated it up, it swelled up a little bit. Our next step is really, if you're going to do this and do it right, you should probably soak your chain in some oil. Just a tub of oil. Put your chain down in there, get it good and lubricated. But for the video purposes, I'm not going to do that because it's going to make a big mess. I will probably go back and pull this off, re-lube it before I put this together for sure, or before I put it together for final assembly. But just for video purposes, I will put it together dry. And I want to show you the difference in the chain that I'm putting on there versus the chain that I took off. The chain that I took off is called a link type chain. It's kind of your factory type chain. Most of your small block, big block Chevys come with this type of chain. And the flat teeth on the gear. Now, you can see the difference in the chains. This one, the new one, is called a double roller. And you can see the difference. Let me get the gears set here, right? You can see the difference in the gears also. I hope so. Anyways, there you go. This one here is a true roller, true double roller, flat link, factory style. Now, if you have an actual factory OEM stock, your camshaft gear will probably have nylon teeth. And usually what happens with those is the nylon teeth will break off and end up in your oil pan. Your timing chain jumps and you have lots of problems. This one's already been replaced with a all steel gear. The camshaft or the crankshaft gear doesn't have any extra timing marks on it. It's all just straight up. So what you'll do is if you're doing this to actually put it together, soak your chain in oil in a cereal bowl, dog food bowl, whatever kind of bowl you can find. Soak your chain in oil. Alright, now bear with me on the camera angles and everything else. I'm going to try to get everything in here that you can see. Here we go. On your crankshaft, you've got a little dot right here. Notice your keyways are at maybe the 1 o'clock or 1:30 position. On your camshaft gear, you've also got a dot. And you also notice which way the centering pin is at 3 o'clock. Now this is top dead center on number 1 cylinder, which number 1 is your first one on your driver's side. That is top dead center on your intake stroke. So what that means is, we're not completely lined up here. Hold on just a second. I'm talking, trying to do something at the same time. That just don't work for me most of the times. Okay, we're kind of lined up. So, let me get a bolt in there real quick. Okay. Now, I think you can see on the camera, we've got a dot here and a dot here, and our dowel pin is at the 3 o'clock position, roughly. So what that means is our number 1 cylinder, our front cylinder on the driver's side, is at top dead center on the intake stroke. Now on a 4-stroke engine, you have 4 strokes. Intake, which is where we're at right now, at the top dead center of intake. Intake, then as it starts coming back up, compression. Then once it compresses it, the spark plug fires, you got your power stroke. Then after your power stroke, when it starts coming back up, your exhaust valve opens, and you have your exhaust stroke. And then you start all over. Your intake valve opens up, intake, compression, power, exhaust. Intake, compression, power, exhaust. The way I remember it is suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow. That's another way to think of it. So right now, with our camshaft installed the way most I guess books or diagrams or instructions tell you to install it, is your marks are lined up right here together. And this dowel pin, this is the same on small block and big block Chevys. I'm not worried about Dodges, Fords, any of the rest of the crap. This is small block and big block Chevys and the V6 4.3 Chevys. Your dowel pin's at your 3 o'clock position. So right now you're on the top dead center of your intake stroke. The problem that we have here is, I've seen it on Facebook and I've run into it myself, is I get my cam in there, I set my valves, get everything adjusted, and I put it right back to this position. And then I set the motor in the truck, set the distributor in there, knowing that my my number one cylinder is at top dead center, but I'm 180 degrees out of timing if I put my distributor in with the timing point pointing towards number one cylinder. We're 180 degrees out. We need to actually put this timing cam gear and then turn the crankshaft one full revolution to put this cam gear at top dead center of the compression stroke. I will show you. Let me grab my tool. And here we go. Now, if you're going to want to, when you get your motor all put together, your engine all put together, and you're ready to put your distributor in, you want your camshaft gear to actually be the dot at 12 o'clock on your camshaft gear and the dot on your crankshaft gear. Oh. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get it perfect. But you want your dots opposite, or both of your dots at 12 o'clock position. That way, whenever you get your camshaft gear and your crankshaft gear, both of them at 12 o'clock position, you throw your distributor in, point it towards number one cylinder, put your plug wires on, you're ready to go. This is a common issue. I've done it myself. I forgot to turn my crankshaft to full revolution over to get my camshaft turned in this direction. I put my distributor in and I'm 180 degrees out. I've done it more than once. Not proud to admit that, but this is to help hopefully some people to not do the same issue that or problem that I've done. Now we've got our camshaft set the way the instructions say, with this dowel pin at the 3 o'clock position. Our timing marks, I'm sure you can see the dots in the video. There's a dot here and a dot here. They're pretty well lined up. So we're good to go. That's your camshaft is timed with your crankshaft. That's where you should set it. You can also have your crankshaft where both of your marks are at the 12 o'clock position. And your camshaft dowel pin is at the 9 o'clock position. Now, the thing is what you got to remember is right now where this is at, with this at the 9 o'clock position, your number 1 cylinder is at top dead center on your compression stroke. You turn your crankshaft where both of your lines or your dots are straight up, 12 o'clock. This is at 9 o'clock. You can put your intake on, you can put your distributor in pointing at number 1 cylinder, and you're ready to go. The common problem, and I've done it myself more times than what I would like to admit, is I will have the crankshaft in the position where we were at the beginning. Let's see. I'll have my crankshaft and my cam timing dot lined up down here, and this lined up at the 3 o'clock position. Well, where we're at is we're still at top dead center on number 1, but we're on top dead center of the intake stroke. So if you leave your camshaft like this, put your intake on, put your motor together, throw your distributor in, you're going to be 180 degrees out. I have done that more times than once. I hate to admit that, but it's happened. So where you want to be is 180 degrees from this. You want your cam timing to be off to the side to number 9 o'clock position. I got some visitors coming in, so disregard them. A bunch of hooligans stop in on me all the time. So that should get you good on your timing chain installation, and we'll move on to the next project.